Welcome back everyone, this is Mindy, and in today's video I'll be creating two simple Christmas cards that are monochromatic and using a couple new stamp sets from Altenew November 2019 release. Here's a look at the stamp set that I'll be using today. This one is called Plentiful Pine and I'm totally loving on this stamp set. I love the layered trees that you have. There's also the insert to give you some ideas to use in your cards and how to layer this up. This does come with a large tree and a smaller tree. Both have 4 layers to stamp up your image. There also is a coordinating die that you can purchase and a stencil that you can purchase as well if you like to make 1-layer cards. I'm also going to be using the stamp set Mini Moon. And this has a couple small sentiments, a coordinating die that you can purchase separately as well, and there are 2 layers to that stamp set. So I thought it would be really fun to create these trees in some non-traditional colors. I do share examples on my blog of more traditional colors that you can stamp with, but for now I am going to be using a variety of pinks. So this first layer that I'm stamping down onto some white cardstock, I'm using rose quartz as my lightest layer. And I do flip my cardstock so I can get 2 of them out of 1 piece of cardstock. My second layer is going to be using the puffy heart. And I'll do the same thing. So in that insert that comes with the stamp set is a guide to show you how to layer up your images. Those are very helpful. I definitely use those all the time when I'm creating with Altenew's layering images. They're very helpful. My third color is going to be purple wine. And I'll use that on my third layer. I lined up my image onto my tree, just inking those up and stamping that down. And this is one of the reasons I really do like having the oval ink pads from Altenew. They do offer mini ink cubes, which are a really nice way to get started on your ink pad collection. They're very affordable. But when it comes to larger images, I do prefer my oval ink pads. It just gives me better coverage, I think, when I'm stamping, but that's a personal preference of mine. So my fourth layer here that I did is Cosmic Berry. And then I'm going to use just a small piece on that cardstock to stamp that mini moon. So that lightest layer is rose quartz. And then I'll line up the layering piece and stamp that in puffy heart. Now off screen, I did go ahead and stamp some smaller trees as well to add to my card. And I'm going to take the coordinating dies, line them up with the images, hold them in place with some purple tape, and run that through my die cutting machine. So here I'm going to be creating an ink blended background for one of my cards. I'm starting off with puffy heart, just doing a really light blend towards the bottom, kind of fading off into the white. Then I'm going to come in with the purple wine, starting from the top, working my way down into that puffy heart. And then I'm going to top it off with the Cosmic Berry. And just going back over those, blending them together, make sure there's a smooth transition there. Then I'm going to take the Altenew Shimmer Spritz, and I'm going to spritz that down onto my background. And I wanted to have a little bit more sparkle to this, so I'm bringing in my Gansai Tambi Starry colors. I'm going to use the gold and the white out of here. So I added a little bit of water to that, mixed that up, and flicked that onto my background with a paintbrush. And I repeated those same steps with the white, and I'll set this off on the side to dry for a little while, and I'm going to work on my second card. So there's a look at all that beautiful shimmery goodness in this card. My second background here that I'm going to create is very clean and simple. I am just taking some of that puffy heart ink and I'm ink blending that off on the left hand side. That's where I'm going to focus my image. And I will bring in one of the trees, kind of line it up, get an idea if I need to ink blend a little more. I didn't want it to be too harsh. I wanted it to be kind of just a soft background. So I always kind of start where my tree is going to be, because that darkest color is going to be hidden. And then I can just blend out. Then I'll line up a sentiment into my MISTI tool onto the white cardstock, and I'll stamp that in the Cosmic Berry ink. I went ahead and lined my tree with some foam squares, and I'm kind of just lining up my placement, and I'll attach the moon down first using a tape runner, and then I can go ahead and attach my tree. So that tree's got a little bit of dimension, but it's a very simple card. Now back to finish off my first card. My background is dry, so I'm going to work on stamping a sentiment. These sentiments are also off of that Plentiful Pine stamp set. So I lined that up at the bottom and stamped that in that Cosmic Berry ink. And then once that kind of dried a little bit, I'm prepping that with an anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to stamp that again in embossing ink. This is going to just give this a little bit of shine. So I'm going to sprinkle on the clear embossing powder from Altenew, and I'll go ahead and heat set that. Then I'll line up my card and kind of get an idea of placement of my trees, where I wanted them to go and how spread out I wanted them to be. Before I attach the trees, I'm going to attach the moon back there, just using a tape runner. The two smaller trees that I'm tucking behind are also getting attached right to the card with the tape runner. And then my larger tree that's in the front, I'm going to add foam squares to the back of that, and that'll just give it a little bit of dimension. So I'm really loving this non-traditional look to these trees. It just really gives you so many more ideas and options that you can create with this stamp set. So I will have all of these supplies listed down below in my video description and over on my blog as well. And I also have a ton of other inspiration over there using some of the other new products from Altenew November 2019 release. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.